La 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 la. I've been so many places, done so many things, spent all my time searching for the perfect song to sing. And now I'm so much older, I finally got it right, and I realize that that song is my life. I'm growing stronger, so much wiser. Won't you please listen to my song? There is no way I could ever turn back now. Won't you please listen to my song? La 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 la. Listen to my song.
Hello and welcome to Nellascope. This is the season finale. My name is Chris Nella. I'm a singer, I'm a producer, I'm a songwriter, I'm an author, and I'm also a super dad. This is the season finale, the cliff notes for the entire season 1 of Nellascope. I am still blown away for the simple fact I have done an official season of a podcast. Our goal is still to help you embrace the process and daily grind and make the process 100 times smoother. I hope that I provided value. I hope that I provoked you to think positive and to really invest into your craft this season, but you ain't seen nothing yet. Season 2 is going to be more interviews. It's going to be more facts. It's going to be more interactive things here on Nellascope. The format for this episode, the season finale of season 1 of Nellascope, is going to be totally different. I'm going to mix up the most important Nellascope episodes into one big show. If this is the show that you landed on, out of all the shows, you are in the right place. This will give you an overall feel for Nellascope. Now, I recommend that you go back and listen to all of the episodes, especially if you're a creative, a singer, an artist, a producer. I recommend you go back and listen to all of them because there are some great free downloads. There's some websites. There's some free software. There's some information. It will be an investment of your time to go back and start on episode 1 all the way up to episode 12. So without further ado, let's get it started. Nellascope, season 1. Where we're talking about perspective. I want to talk about Batman. I don't know if you remember Batman, the old school Batman. He had on a belt around his waist. In some cases it's yellow, some cases it's black. But on that utility belt, there were multiple utilities. It allowed him to be whatever he needed to be for that moment. If he needed to climb a wall, he has a grappling hook. If he needed to get away quickly, he has some smoke pellets. Or disarm someone from far away, he had batarangs. So my point is, whatever Batman needed to be or to become at that moment, he had it on his utility belt. The reason why I bring all of that up, perception is the utility belt for the mind. Everything you'll ever need to do or become is all about your mental impression of yourself. I want to give to you 3 reasons why it's not working. Number 1, your promo actually sucks. I know you're out there hustling. The fact is your promo is promotion of one thing, just your song. People are connecting to brands. People don't want to connect to one song. The fact is people can see through BS. People can see through non-authentic people, just like plastic, and they can feel the real. Your phenomenal talent, good looks, and swag can only hold their attention for so long. And my main example is reality TV. On most reality TV shows, tea is being spilled that captures people's attention. And like I said in point 2, you are competing with the next reality show or trend. Here's a fact. TV has conditioned our culture to look for the hottest tea. And you always balling and happy and nothing ever going wrong. You're losing out on the drama element. Indie indie versus label. First of all, a major record label. What that is, a major record label is a company. It is a company, a business that has hundreds of millions of dollars behind them, allowing them to properly fund all of the world's biggest artists. But if you read anywhere in the news, online, the major music label industry is failing. However, being an indie artist, if you smelt it, you dealt it. Your hard work pays off here. If you sell 1,000 singles at $150 a piece, guess what? You get that money, you distribute it among your teams, your producers, but you still have the ownership over it. You still have the ownership over it. Hang on to the world as it spins around. Don't you let the spin get you down. Things are moving fast. Hold on tight and you will last. Take it from me, someday we'll all be free. Now, I don't know what part of the world you're in, but I have a very, very important question for you as the host of Nellascope. How are you doing? How have you been? Not just the surface stuff, mentally, physically. How have you been? Reflect on that right now. Because the fact that you're listening to my voice, there's still hope. There's still a chance for you to prevail. What I want to start out with is how COVID-19 has affected us all. The fact is, it's affected us economically, socially. It's created barriers that we've never, ever seen before. Even in this climate of social media that we have, COVID-19 has placed restrictions even on that and some things that we can do before we return back to our norm. This is my most important thing that I like to bring up. Are you ready for it? This is the most important thing. Number 3. Are you ready? Get close. My number 3 thing. You can do absolutely nothing. 4 of the most important things I learned while working with the icon R&B legend Keith Sweat and being a member of the group Silk. Do not waste your time or other people's time. It's a precious commodity. You can never get time back. You can never officially get time back. You can get money back. You can reinvest, but you can't get time back. So don't waste your time or other people's time. Number 2, if you don't feel the song or the vibe off of it, no one else will. I like to apply number 3 to any profession or anything that you're achieving today or anything that you're looking to achieve. You have to have the skill to produce a good product. That is the fact. Final, most important thing I learned while working with Keith Sweat is always do you. Always be you. Be yourself. Be who you are. Whatever you feel makes you unique, stick with that. Use that, because just like snowflakes, there are no 2 snowflakes alike. Always do what you feel you can do the best, because with that uniqueness, that is where your gift lies. With that uniqueness, that is where you'll achieve something, again, that nobody else has ever done, because they're not you. Don't listen to what people are saying about you. Be your unique, authentic self. Now, that was episode 1 through 6 that you just listened to, compiled together. Now, this segment of Indie Fiya is going to be every artist that I've had the privilege of playing their 100% independent music right here on my show. We could not have done this without you. As a matter of fact, I don't want to do it without my indie artists. And to all of my indie artists that want to be on Nellascope, send me an email. Go to Instagram. On IG, I'm Nellascope. Nellascope. That's on IG. And for email, I'm NellaSCPPOD@gmail.com. That's NellaSCPPOD@gmail.com. If you want your music featured here on Nellascope, shoot me an IG, shoot me an email. Now, without further ado, this is Season 1 Nellascope Indie Fiya. Enjoy.
I don't think we need to do too much. More simple, baby. We gon' walk on water and we out of here. I don't know why they so envious. We gon' walk on water and we out of here. Came through with the drill. Aquaman with the drill. Came through with the drill. Aquaman with the drill. Came through with the drill. Aquaman with the drill. Came through with the drill.
Have you ever been shown fake love? Taking advantage of. My heart been bruised so many times, it's still bandaged up. But I refuse to be a slave, another man in cuffs. I'ma let it get me down till I start manning up. It just made me go harder, 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 harder. But I just thank the Lord 'cause it made me go harder.
Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will not fear. Your rod and your staff cover me forever, and you are always near. Surely goodness and your mercy and your love will chase me down, will chase me down.
Tell me, have you seen her? She's divine. She's the type to cross your path and blow your mind. Tell me, have you seen her? Show me where she went. It would be so cool to cross her path again.
So I will get what I deserve. I'm gonna get what I've been dreaming of. I found out that I was worth it. Oh yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna get what I'm believing for.
Sometimes, and I can't see my way. And the clouds ain't long. I can't see in front of me, but I found I never feel hopeless. I'm never afraid. You show me a brighter day. You show me a better way. That is why you love me. You love me. You love me. I'm so glad that you love me too. You love me. You love me. I opened up my heart. I opened up my heart and let the sun shine. No more cloudy days. Let the sun shine in.
Draw me close to you, closer to you. Draw me close to you, closer to you. Draw me close to you, closer to you. Draw me close to you.
I feel like I made it, I made it, I made it. I feel like I made it, I made it, I made it. This world is so crazy, it's crazy, it's crazy. But I feel I can make it, make it. I can taste victory. No, I won't ever let it get to me. No. I can taste victory. No, I won't ever let it get to me.
I'm still learning how to live it. The clock don't stop, still burning up the minutes. I'm through with all the gimmicks that will limit my potential. My attention won't diminish, still a finished monumental. So I can't lie. You know I feel some type of way. You know we gotta pay the pipe, we gotta see a brighter day. I took my shades off and I was way on. I couldn't focus, I was laid out. It didn't pay on. I'm hopping post bigger back up in the saddle like I'm riding on the high horse. The bag need the bag of Joe tagging is a high cost. Now I'm winning, no pretending I'm a new man. Strong to the finish, life is all about pursuing. I had to keep it moving. I gave up your spot. I'm prayed up, my made up. I gave up my doubts. No makeup, my cake up. Got love up my pulse. When life got you drowning, you still reaching out bigger, bigger.
I cast my fears aside, lay down my foolish pride. I gotta get it right. I'm reaching out to you. I took off my disguise. I'm taking back my life. Yeah, I'm reaching out to you.
And that was all of the artists for season 1 here on Nellascope. Now let's get back into the rest of the episodes. This episode will tell you how to distribute on all the streaming platforms or how to drive traffic to a specific website and cut out the middleman. The first I want to mention is a website called Gumroad. The beauty of Gumroad, it takes out the middleman. You set up your own store, your own shop. They take a very minimum amount of the money that you make, but you can set up your merch there, your books, your music, special events. You can even set up one-on-one phone calls if you need to. Gumroad.com is where you want to go, but I recommend this as well as a way to get your music out legally and safely. What we want to do is make your music as profitable as possible. This website can be a great option, and that's www.gumroad.com. I recommend that you take a look at it. Go to the website, peek around. You can have different products, and it keeps analytics of how many people are visiting. Level.com, they provide for you an ISRC. That's an International Standard Recording Code. This code is the code that your PRO, BMI, ASCAP, this is the code that they use when your music is played internationally or anywhere in the galaxy. With this code, it can be tracked. Or if your song is played 50,000 times, each time, this code is the way to track it. So Level provides that. Level also provides a UPC code, which is very, very important. So besides the ISRC and the UPC code, they get you on all of the major streaming sites: Apple, Spotify, Pandora. They get you on Amazon, all of the major streaming platforms. I recommend them. I've done 2 songs and they have been, the customer support, very intuitive. They'll get back to you in a short matter of time. But I recommend Gumroad.com and Level.com. These are the sites that I recommend. Now, the main one that I want to talk about, and I've released 2 songs on this distribution site, is called Level. And the website is www.levelmusic.com. That's one word, www.levelmusic.com. This site is a distribution site, so the process is very, very simple. Go ahead and jump into it and let you know 5 reasons why you should release a mixtape. Let's jump into what a mixtape actually is. A mixtape is a compilation of songs, and they can be any length. A mixtape is literally a mix of songs compiled together as one single piece of unique art. Now, one thing I have to put out there, just because it has the name and the term mixtape on it, and when you think about the term mixtape, you think about making a tape, putting all your favorite songs on it, staying up late at night, press record, get your favorite song, and you mash pause until the next song comes on. When I think of the word mixtape, that's what comes to mind. It's totally different though. I don't want any of my artists that have emailed me or DM'd me to think that because they're doing a mixtape, I don't want them to think that that's the easy way out, because that mixtape still has to be fire. It still has to be a great sound. It still has to be great material. It still has to be fire. So don't think just because you have the term mixtape that you can kind of just put out anything. Nah, it's not gonna work. As I said earlier, people want the real. They see through fake. They see through fake people like plastic. If you put out something in the name of a, air quotes, mixtape, and it's not a real quality product from your heart and from your soul that properly represents your brand, your tribe or fan base, they're gonna see right through that. You may lose a portion of your fan base that you can never get back because you took them for granted, because you released a mixtape that was not up to your standard or the standard of music that they've grown to love. So don't do that to yourself. So let's jump into these reasons. The beauty of a mixtape, it can be created without supervision or constraint for promotional purposes or building hype. You can be in between releases, or your mixtape can be a release before your release. There are no rules. That's the beauty of it. There are no rules. You can do a release before your release. All the while, you're getting that momentum rolling for your brand. You're letting people know exactly what you can do. So number 1, 5 reasons why you should release a mixtape. Number 1, they're low pressure compared to other recordings. At a base level, your mixtape should showcase your own musical skills, your production skills, your writing skills, your singing skills, while offering your fan base something interesting to listen to without switching tracks. That's the beauty of a mixtape. It can be seen as one solid piece of material without any breaks. And this is where having great content comes into play. Being the fact that it's your mixtape and there are no rules, you can do whatever you want for your piece of art. You can do an interlude. You can do a sound bite. You can interview. You can talk. You can record yourself while you're cooking. It's something that can help you establish your brand and also make a connection to your fan base. Have an experimental attitude. Do something you've never done before or something that you've always dreamed about. You're the boss. Imagine this is your record label. Imagine you're the only product that's on this record label. A mixtape, it's any artist's dream. Creativity should run wild. This is your chance to do just about anything that you want. So that's number one. Mixtapes are low pressure compared to other recordings. Number two, a mixtape's unique format is interesting to listen to. Listeners will appreciate the diverse mix of sounds and added insight into the world of their favorite musician. And that's you. Mixtapes are great for listeners to just mash play and let the music go on without having to skip around the track list. Here's a great idea. Do unique things. If you have some interludes that are not previously released, put them on there. If you have some interviews or some sound bites or some great conversations that you've already taped and they're just lying around and they're good content, put them in there. Again, you're painting the picture, making your mixtape, your continuous mixtape, as interesting as it can possibly be. So number one, mixtapes are low pressure compared to other recordings. Number two, the mixtape unique format is interesting to listen to. And number three, they expand your creativity. Making a mixtape makes you come out your comfort zone because no one just wants the regular. They want something meaty. They want to know you. They want to see what you really got. You understand me? This is a great time for you to do some collabs. Do some acoustic versions. This is a great time for you to remix a previous hit. There are no rules. You are limitless with your mixtape, but make it fun, make it interesting, make it top notch. Now let's go ahead and jump into today's topic, how to avoid burnout. Let's face it, life is hard sometimes. I'm speaking for myself, and I know you guys can relate. Being a dad, being a brother, being a friend, being an artist, being a consultant, having all of those hats. Let's face it, doing what you love sometimes costs you. What I want to talk about on episode 9, 4 ways to avoid burnout. I'm going to give 4 ways that you as a creative, an artist, a producer, a dancer, a singer, a rapper, whatever you love doing, I'm going to give you 4 ways that you can avoid being burned out from it. All right, let's go. The number 1 way that you can avoid burnout, schedule something non-music related. Make sure it's a guilty pleasure. Let me explain to you. Being a producer / singer / songwriter / father / consultant / husband, my guilty pleasure is a good old action movie. The more bang, 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 the more explosions, the more loud stuff that's happening, the more hand-to-hand combat, the better. This is how I like to unwind. And I know it takes me away from all of the musical tasks and the things that I have related. Whenever I feel as if I need to get away, that is one of my guilty pleasures. And the reason why I say it needs to be a guilty pleasure, something that we don't usually indulge in, you need to remind yourself that there's life outside of this book, this song, this production. You have to physically remind yourself and release those good endorphins. There is life outside of being a producer and pumping out these songs. Because what'll happen if you just keep going, you're going to begin to despise the very thing that you're working on. So schedule something non-music related. Do something that wakes up that little kid inside of you. So that's number 1. Number 2, the number 2 way to avoid burnout, make a schedule or else you will procrastinate on major projects and create a mountain of nothingness. Now this is for me. What you have to do is make a schedule. Put it down on paper or put it down on your phone. If you don't write it down, it does not exist. So with our major projects, we have to write them down to dedicate the brain space to it. Because if you think about it, there are about 5 billion things that you have to do throughout the day. How many of those do you take time to actually schedule those things? And then what happens, again, if you don't write it down, it doesn't exist. It lives in your imagination. So once it's written down or put into your phone, it becomes a real tangible thing. It creates mind space that this needs attention. This needs to be done. It's a real thing to me. But on the flip side of that, if you don't, you will create a mountain on the island of procrastination, so to speak. It's a mountain of nothingness. In the South, we have a saying, I'm fixing to. That's what you create. You create a lot of I'm fixing to do's. So make you a schedule, prioritize your life, or else you will procrastinate on major projects, the things that you got to do, the big ticket items, and you will create a mountain of nothingness. Number 3, don't chase the grind or lose out on rest for sure. And I know a lot of you self-help gurus maybe throwing stuff at the speakers or dropping their phone, but hear me out. A lot of people are unaware of their most effective times. Like me, I work good late at night and early in the morning. You may not be a morning person. Find out your sweet spot. And that's the thing that a lot of people have not found. They're on the grind, they're hustling, they're on the grizzle, but you have not taken the time to really get to know what time you're the most effective in. A lot of people are running after the grind because it's the hot or fashionable thing, or in our mind, it satisfies the facade that we see of us being successful. And I'm not doubting that, of us being wealthy, and I'm not doubting that. But you have to have a better plan than just running around and working hard, missing out on family time. Now, I understand that there's going to be sacrifices. I understand that there are going to be some early mornings, some late nights, some extended studio times, some extended stage play rehearsals. I understand that. That is all part of what we do. However, I'm strongly against abusing your body. I'm strongly against not getting enough rest. I am strongly against just working because it's the fashionable thing to do. Here's something that I want you to do. Get a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen. For the next couple of days, make a journal. Find out when you feel your best and when you're the most active or when you're the most productive. So what I recommend for all of my Nella Nation, all of my creatives, find out what time is best for you. Not only as a producer or a singer or a creative, as a mom and a dad. Find out what is the best time, the most productive time, so to speak, your sweet spot. Because that way you're gonna get the most done and you won't have to worry about chasing the grind. The grind will be there tomorrow. I go back to number 2, make a schedule. And that way, the things that you have to do, your big ticket items, they're gonna get knocked out. If you put a priority on what you have to do for your livelihood, what's the most important for promotion, those things will get done. And when they're done per your schedule, you will have such satisfaction for following your schedule and not just running around like a chicken with their head cut off. You understand what I'm saying? Family, I love you guys and I love your mental health. I want you to be healthy. I want you to be whole. I want you to enjoy life as God has promised us to live. It's almost good enough, it's still good enough. I get a lot of emails from a lot of do-it-yourselfers, from people that are just starting out and are encouraged to create their own product. And I'm so proud of you. But I get a lot of emails saying, hey, Nella, I don't have the funds. I don't have the budget. I don't have a way to get my product professionally mastered, but I think I have a pretty good mix. Guys, I had to make this episode for you. Hopefully it shines the light on the question about mixing and mastering. Before I start, I'm going to be honest with you. If you are seriously pursuing a professional career in music, production, rapping, singing, you need mastering. And now I'm going to explain why. So again, the topic is almost good enough, still good enough. All right, let's jump right into the topic. You know how I do. I like to dive right in. How is mastering different from mixing? Why is it needed? Why didn't my mixing engineer or the guy who mixed my song, why didn't he just do that for us? In a nutshell, mastering incorporates all of the audio work done on the master track, so your song or album needs to be already mixed. The primary function of mastering, since we now live in a digital world, the purpose of mastering has exclusively become the audio enhancement of the master output. Some of us call it the sweeten it up or putting that sheen on there, you understand me? And I know you might ask, I paid somebody to give me a good mix. Isn't the job of mixing to sweeten or put the sheen on it? It's true that when you're mixing a track, you want that song, or the purpose of that song being mixed is to make it sound its very best, but it's not good enough. Here is the main difference of mixing and mastering. I'm going to break it down for you. Get you a piece of paper, get close, because this is the truth. I'm laying all my cards on the table. It's like mixing is focused internally on the song and the artist, but mastering is focused externally on the listener and the playback format. So for those people that are going to enjoy your song on earbuds, in a car, through their Bluetooth speakers, that's what mastering is for. Mixing does not necessarily include worrying about the final volume, the dynamic range, the image width, or any concerns about how it may sound on different playback systems. That is not the job of mixing. Those will be taken care of in mastering. And that's where we take a look at the song as a whole and how it will be presented to the music world. How to make money off of other people's music. All right, so let's get started. What you have to do to make money or to profit off of other people's music, you have to secure a mechanical license. Let me explain to you what a mechanical license is. First of all, let's discuss why licensing is necessary. Just like you need a license to drive a car, fly an airplane, or sell real estate. It's the law. Copyright law requires all artists and labels to obtain a mechanical license before distributing a recording containing any song or composition they did not write. And I know you say, Nella, what's a mechanical license? Let's get real technical. A mechanical license is a broad term that refers to a reproduction for distribution or sale of a musical composition in the form of a sound recording. So that can be an actual song with lyrics, that could be a song that you produce, that can be a song that you composed or arrange. Anytime you reproduce and distribute a recording of a composition that you do not control, which means it did not come from your brain or your hand, which means you are not the author of it, including physical and digital. So don't get caught up just because it's digital or physical CDs. Anytime you reproduce and distribute a recording that's not yours, you need a mechanical license. Mechanical licenses are issued by the owner or controller of the composition. In this case, it'll be the author or the maker of the composition. Typically, most publishers, BMI, ASCAP, they're acting on behalf of songwriters or composers. Some agencies represent many U.S. publishers for mechanical license, although there are U.S. publishers who are not represented by agencies and must be licensed directly. Now, we talked about mechanical license. We talked about that you need one. Now let's dive into who gets the money. Show me the money. There are two fees involved with licensing cover songs. The cost varies anywhere from $15 to $25 per license service fee. It's usually discounted if you're securing licenses for multiple songs. So it's usually about $15 to $25. And the publishing royalty. Publishing royalty is a rate set by law, so it's not something that we can change or negotiate, set by law at 9.1 cents per unit for all recordings up to 5 minutes. $1.75 per minute if the track is over 5 minutes in length. So now you can go into this with your eyes wide open. Don't let nobody sell you no wooden nickel. Don't let them pull the wool over your eyes. These are the set rates. So 9.1 cents per unit for all recordings up to 5 minutes and $1.75 per minute if the track is over 5 minutes in length. How does this work for physical CDs? Each physical CD manufactured that includes the cover song, the song that you're reproducing and trying to make a profit off of. The royalties owed correspond for the statutory rate of 9.1 cents per pressing per song. So here's the example. Get a pen and piece of paper, or if you're good at math, just do it in your head. If you were to manufacture 1,000 CDs of an album containing 2 cover songs, the royalties would be $182. Let me break it down for you. 1,000 CDs times 2 songs times 9.1 cent per song. Now that we've talked about how it works for physical CDs, and this is Chris Nella, I'm talking about how to make money off of other people's music here on Nellascope, the podcast. So we've just talked about how mechanical license works for physical CDs. Let's talk about how it works for digital. The same rate applies for digital downloads. The royalties are calculated on the actual amount of downloads. So for instance, if your album included 2 cover songs and was downloaded 500 times, the royalty owed would be $91. All right, so let me break it down for you. 500 album downloads times 2 songs times the 9.1 cent per song. Now this is for a lot of my indie artists. Additionally, if your cover songs are available as singles, the same rate applies to all downloaded single tracks of the song. Now, here's the good part. Here's the meat of what I'm doing. How to secure mechanical licenses for your cover songs. What if we don't plan to sell the CDs? Because here, again, we're indie artists. We're all independent. All the decisions, all the marketing comes through us. So if you're giving away CDs, downloads, etc., you will still need a mechanical license. And it will be required to pay mechanical royalties for all physical units manufactured and all digital units distributed. And now it's time for Moments to be Inspired By. This is one of my favorite segments of the show where I take real life events, motivational quotes, and moments in life that inspired me to go to the next level. I hope that in season 1, somehow, some way, these quotes, these life events, I hope they've helped you go to the next level, or at least really start making the preparations for you to go to the next level where you belong. On this segment of Moments to be Inspired By, this is for all of my creatives. Hear my heart and take this with you for the rest of the day, the rest of the month, the rest of the year, the rest of your creative life. Victory does not have an expiration date. Let me say that again. Victory does not have an expiration date. If it takes you a little bit longer to write that book, if it takes you a few more months to make that album, victory does not have an expiration date on it. When you make that platinum album, it's not going to have an asterisk next to it. It's not going to have a star saying, woo, this took a long time. It's not going to have an asterisk next to it. It's not going to have a star. But what it will be is finished. I'd like to thank you for letting me pour into your life. And that was Moments to be Inspired By. Nella Nation. Wow. I'm sorry, I had to pause a minute. It feels good to say this. Season 1. It's a wrap. Guys, I love what I do. I love the emails I get from you. I love the instant messages I get from you. I love the inspiration I get from you. And I'm so glad that I can bring it to you. You know, sometimes in life, they tell you that you have to go full circle. I'm coming around that corner, but by me getting the bumps and the bruises, creative, singer, artist, producer, if you continue to listen to me, you won't have to lose thousands. You won't have to lose time. You won't have to sacrifice everything that's important to you. I want you to be happy. So today was the most important moments in season 1. Each episode was compiled together. And again, I recommend that you start at episode 1 and go all the way to episode 12. My Indie Inferno mix was all of the artists that have been on season 1 of Nellascope, the podcast. From the bottom of our heart here at Nellascope, the podcast, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you've ever had your music played and invested into this machine that we call Nellascope, the podcast, I'd like to thank you. And I hope that God empowers and moves you into another level. And then there was Moments to Inspire, and I left the probably most important quote of every moment to be inspired by. Victory does not have an expiration date on it. That is what I want you to take from season 1. I want you to go out there and win. Go out there and do what could not be done, because you're different, you're special. There's no one else like you. So I am charging each one of you listening right now, whether you're in real estate, whether you are a playwright, whether you are a producer, whatever your profession of creativity is, I charge you to go and shake things up, because again, the world is waiting on what you got. Let us get that talent. It's time to wake up that sleeping giant. Guys, season 2 is coming soon. It's going to be more interviews. It's going to be more hot, smoking from the oven Indie Fiya. I'm going to have some more interaction with you guys. I want you to know that season 2, we're going to turn up the heat. We're going to crank out some more great podcasts, some more content. I'd like to thank every subscriber, and of course, to all of my people worldwide that are listening. I don't take it for granted. Thanks for listening. In France, the Philippines, in India, in Canada, in the Netherlands, Guatemala, Jamaica, Australia, Spain, Ireland, and here in the US. Thank you so very much for taking time out of your day, and in your individual nation, send me a shout out so I can shout out your city, shout out your country. That's what we're all about, lifting up the Nella Nation to let the world know that, hey, we are here. So tune in next week for Nellascope season 2. We're going to start it off with a bang. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. We want Nellascope, the podcast, to be the #1 podcast in music, because it's good for you, it's empowering, it doesn't have trans fat, it's gluten-free. We want to be the #1 podcast in music, but I need your help. And anybody that you know will get value from this podcast, pass it along to them and let it empower their life. Guys, I love you, but God loves you more. Let that sizzle in your spirit. This is Chris Nella, season 1 of Nellascope. I'll see you next season, season 2, and I'm gone.